Today, we have Zach Cole on the podcast. He is a skydiving instructor right now at Paradise Valley Skydiving. He holds many, many ratings, including tandem instructor, so he can take you on your very first skydive. He's an AFFI instructor, so he can teach you how to become a licensed skydiver. And he holds several other ratings, including an appointment as a safety and training officer with the United States Parachute Association. So Zach is really someone that embodies the sport of skydiving completely. And today we're going to talk all about skydiving. He's going full-time into the sport now. And yeah, welcome, Zach.
Yeah, man. Thanks, Tal. Thanks for letting me do this with you. Seriously, man. It's super cool. Yeah.
What's the ratio of first jump course student to a license? It's got to be pretty low.
Very low. Very low.
Like, what do you say, 1 in 10 or less?
Less. So it actually, at Paradise Valley, so our home drop zone, I don't know, like how many people are going to see this that know about skydiving.
Well, Paradise Valley Skydiving's gaining a name too
in
the region.
But, we do have a program where I don't know, I feel like we care a lot about making sure the students make it through. And, one of the topics that we were just going to talk on was like teaching in skydiving. I think that to start off with, everybody's different. So it's not only like, so the ratio, I would like to think we have a higher ratio than most. So 1 to 10, I would say might be close. I can't speak for every DZ, but that sounds about right. But I think ours would be a little higher than that. Like if we just went back and looked at our numbers. Yeah. We have some awesome coaches. People that have been doing it a long time.
So, but it is a double-edged sword, I think. I haven't been around too many bigger DZs, but you lose maybe some of that personal touch that the Paradise Valley certainly has, but you also gain bigger planes, the ability to put through more students. So sometimes a student could drop off just from like waiting for weather in a slower drop zone running a 182, and there's not much we can do about that besides have a great community to kind of hang out with, which we do.
You can learn as much on the ground or more on the ground. We spend more time on the ground than we do in the air. By far.
But there is an undeniable, like, you will lose some people. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe those are the people that didn't have weren't really trying, I don't know.
No, they should just take up bowling. Some people should just take up bowling. And I didn't come up with that. There's supposedly that's a thing where you can walk by and kind of give this signal, and that's kind of like, you want to take this guy? He probably needs to go bowling. Like this is going to be one of their last tries probably before you have that talk with them.
Have you had to have that talk with somebody?
I mean, I've had to have full-on couch sessions. Like that's what I would call it, like full-on just couch sessions of, yes, we're ready to quit. That was so terrible. We're done. In one student's instance, it wasn't their fault. It was their physical limitations set on them at birth. And then, in another instance of some of them, they just felt beat up by the process. They don't make it easy to get your A license, right? It's not easy to get your A license.
No, yeah. It took me 6 months, so right? You have to keep coming back.
And that's getting it done. It's being proactive towards it. Because baseline, somebody could do 1 jump a month. Yeah. It could take you 25 months to get your A license.
Yeah, but it's you know how it is.
Yeah.
There are drop zones though that you can go and get it done in like 3 weeks or 2, maybe less. If you have the money, you go down to Spaceland. Yeah. And you crank it out. And I wonder how many of those people that get it cranked out stick in the sport. Have you been to? I'm sure you have, but have you been to much bigger DZs?
Just a few. And mainly the time spent were either at boogies at bigger DZs or at courses. Like the most time I've spent at a big DZ is West Tennessee. I would say because they're the fastest jump plane in the world. So we did our AFFI.
Were you with a group or were you solo? Did you go with Paradise Valley people?
Yes. So I went with Steve Emmons, our DZO. He was in the AFFI course. He finished top of our class. He hates that I say that. But we went down there to West Tennessee, for that reason. That course is, you need that altitude. like you were saying, there's the perks of the bigger drop zones and the bigger airplanes, and that's it. That was the main thing. I couldn't imagine doing that course. That's the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. That's the hardest thing I've ever done. Hardest thing I've ever done in my life. But they don't make any of it easy. They don't make getting your A license easy. The criteria for your B license, none of it's easy, and it shouldn't be. I don't think.
Yeah.
I think some of it could be a little harder, honestly.
Yeah, most definitely, man. Having been to just a couple of bigger DZs solo for a day or two, not very long, like Skydive Miami, Spaceland, I can definitely see how like they have their clicks, right? And it's a completely different vibe and experience. Yeah. So it feels like a business.
Yep.
You get those perks. You get to go higher, go faster. And maybe if you stick around, the community may reveal itself, but immediately at a small drop zone, usually you're in a good community and you're doing, especially if you jump with us, you're doing some crazy stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
As you progress, you're going to do hot air balloon jumps, fly around balloons, land in pastures. And
I think what you said was perfect, though. I bet that is exactly how it happens.
Yeah. I bet that. Stick around the bigger.
Yeah, you stick around and it starts becoming the family. It's almost like they have to weed out the family a little bit larger than we do. Like
you got those.
Who's going to actually be here?
Those. What do you call those jumpers that just ready to base jump before A licenses? Or what do you call them? Do they have names? Is that a sky god or is that a little different?
I don't know. Death Wish. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be careful. Those bigger places likely attract those people. Yeah, they got to be careful.
Yeah, and we've attracted those people, and you just have to have that conversation with them. Like, well, for us as a USPA drop zone, we do things this way, and that's the way it is. We do things this way. Yeah.
So, what are the types of people that you've kind of noticed get into skydiving? I mean, everyone's from a different walk of life, but as far as like the mindset they bring to the table, are there any like common, or is everyone different?
Everyone's different, but there is a common denominator that I've noticed as a new instructor between the people that you can see if they get it, like right out of the gate. I'm not going to say any names of students, but like just working with them, when I fly up to them and you get close enough, you can see it in their eyes. Are you nervous, scared? Like, and Steve would teach us, you can't wear a visor or anything because I want to see the fear in your eyes. And I understand that fully. Like, when we all are different, we all do bring different things to the table. I mean, we have doctors that just graduated as students with us. We have kids in college still. Yeah. Every walk of life.
What's the oldest? Like about 90, huh?
So 90 that skydived with us.
Yeah.
Well, he was 92. Yeah. But our oldest student was 76.
Yeah. So young and old.
Yeah. Our oldest student was 76 years old. I let him out IED. That was pretty cool. Chuck.
Yeah. Hey, have you ever had a student, again, not saying names, but have you ever had a student in IED where you're like, man, and it sounds like maybe you have, where it's, can you really tell someone, like, to what degree do you let someone try even though you may not believe in them? Like, hey, this person may not be ready, but
all the way up and through it till it's safe. As long as it's safe. As long as it's safe, I'll kill it. Yeah. Yeah. As long as it's safe.
Yeah. I mean, the physical, like you're doing your gear checks, right? Mm-hmm. But you don't really know what's ticking in their brain, do you?
Yeah. But if I'm pitching your pilot chute, you're under your square stable.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's why we vet everybody. And so we do the first jump course the way we do.
Yeah. It's a good first jump course.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Excel Skydiving taught us how to do that. And if you follow that in any form that Mike or any of his guys have ever taught, that's perfect. It's everything you need to know.
About how many jumps do you think it takes for someone to kind of get it? Because, I feel like when I first started, I didn't get it for at least a few jumps.
What do you mean by get it? Because, so just for me personally, I never, other than the first two free fall jumps, I had a little potato chipping and I was a little stiff on exit. But past that, I think I would say what you're saying, got it after my second or third free fall jump.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have a completely vivid memory of every of those first 25 jumps or so or whatever.
Yeah.
But I remember they were blurry, man.
Yeah.
Like, the tunnel especially, yeah. Like, yeah. I remember doing an AFF with Tyler and somebody else, and yeah, just I think it was Steve-O probably. Just like this is all I could see. I was just,
Yeah.
everything else was just a blur.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't remember how I made it down.
Yeah.
Guess I steered it down.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I didn't get it for a while.
You did
I guess
AFF
that's what
first?
I mean. It was just really blurry. I switched. Yeah,
Yeah.
I did both.
Yeah. Yeah, because I wasn't there when both of them were doing AFF.
Yeah.
Yeah, because so when I showed up, there was practically only a IED program.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't a very regular thing, but I think it worked out for me. I don't remember if I finished AFF or not. But yeah, and then also just for the longest time, just seeing the canopy as a way to get down, and not as an actual wing you're flying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that took a while for me, and I'm still, feeling it out. But now I'm feeling more comfortable, and it doesn't. I don't know. It took me a while. Maybe everyone else is a bit quicker, but I feel like I was zoned out for a while, only thinking about the free fall portion.
I don't think so. I think that like what you're saying is way more along the lines of like actually a faster progression. It's definitely not slow. It's either normal, average, or faster than the progression that you've had in skydiving. You're a skydiving coach, man.
Yeah.
You know how to skydive. You know how to teach people how to skydive. You know how to teach them how to be safe.
Yeah.
And take care of them in free fall. You know how to free fall with them, be able to take care of yourself, move towards them, and tell them what they need to do better. And by better, like to fix themselves when they're having troubles, when they can't turn. You know how to tell them how to turn. Yeah, man. Yeah.
One day when I'm more advanced, I'd like to do canopy coaching.
Yeah.
And I guess you do a little bit of that just when you're jumping with someone and you got comms wherever you're talking with each other. Anything helps. I just love that, man.
Yep.
I want to get into paragliding, actually.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I'd still like to fly a canopy, but paragliding, you can just stay in that for much longer, for hours.
I could see you like in that.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah, the problem is it ain't just like skydiving. It takes a sacrifice to get into.
I know. Well, skydiving is like, so I'm making skydiving a career now. So, I mean, if that's what I'm going to do. That's my focus. And it's like completely relit it inside of me. Like, so the fire's never stopped. I definitely haven't been doing it long enough for even the fire to like slow down at all. But knowing that I'm having to do this, prior I already ran a successful landscape company, and I'm selling out of that, right now to be able to do this. I truly love it more than anything. Has
anybody said like, yo, Zach, are you sure you want to do this? Because I imagine that's something that's not too accepted in the mainstream.
Yeah.
Like you're selling a successful business to go full-time skydiving.
Yeah.
Why? I mean, don't get me wrong, I understand, but like for most people, why?
Yeah. Truly, because, I mean, in the simplest words possible, the worst day I've ever had skydiving is better than any other day I've had doing anything else.
Yeah.
And you're going to pay me? So being a tandem instructor, you give that person the ride of their life. To be a tandem instructor, you have to have at least 500 skydives. So some of that, like that first time, leaves you.
Was I crazy, or did you like go? You got your tandem instructor, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Forgot about that part.
Yeah, I ran. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you go to Florida?
Yep. I got to go see Aaron Kaiser, which is, I think he developed our drop zone as well. So like, for me, man, truly, I've had the perfect people in line every step for me. It's, I don't know who's going to be listening to this, but like, I'm not a religious person in any way. I have no idea, but I don't know any more than anybody else. So I just don't discredit or anything. I don't care. But I don't know if it feels set out for me, because when I went to go skydive at Fayetteville, I thought you were just going to jump from an airplane from 10,000 feet. They were just going to let me out. I had no idea AFF or IED was even a thing. I showed up and he's like, you're going to hang on the side of an airplane like James Bond, and I'm going to throw your pilot chute. Well, it's a static line, but essentially the same thing. And I lied to him. I told Brandon Cowwood, I said, I've been in the tunnel. I don't need that. I didn't realize it was a progression or anything. I just wanted to skydive. And then
in the tunnel, I don't need that.
Yeah, like truly.
What did he say to that?
Well, looking back on it, I now understand why it was so dismissed. Because there's a progression like that. Truly, like there is tunnel progression, but like you would have to seen the video for the time. But yeah, he just completely dismissed it. I did my first 2 static lines there, and absolutely perfectly they were closed the next weekend. And you know me, like when I started, I was there I'm there from sun up to sundown. I was there to get every jump I possibly could. And he was there. He was telling me we're not open the next Friday, and I'm like, or the next Sunday. I'm sorry. And I was like, that's not good enough for me. Where can I go? And he goes, well, there's this group in Clarksville. So he sends me this group in Clarksville, and I meet Steve. I mean, all you guys. I met my mentors that got to take me on that. That's what I'm saying. So I got to get that. I got to go to Clarksville. I got to meet this set of mentors in Steve Emmons, Josh Brooks, Steve Elliott, Tyler Hinkle was there. That was massive at the time. Dick Vara. I mean, all these guys. I'm not leaving anybody out or anything, but just like I got to meet all of these people that got to give me so much. Robert Watkins, what he taught me about like how to treat people. I learned that from him. Like putting a smile on somebody's face, like meeting this family down there. You know what I mean? It's truly. I get to meet this family, and that kept me going through where I got all of the. I got my A license here. I kind of forgot what I was getting at, but
yeah. And just
I guess that's what it was. It seems like I've had a perfect person set in front of me every time I've needed something to happen. Steve Inman was there when I needed that next step, and he's the one that taught me, and I still hear him in my head. And then once it got past that, when I was on coach status, I had Josh Brooks, and Josh Brooks was great for me. He talked skydiving in my mind the same way that skydiving is to me. And then after that, you don't really have anybody after you get your A license, right? Like, there's that drop-off period where you just go jump with other jumpers. I jumped with this guy, Charles, that we all know, and a little bit of a wild card. Like, looking back on it, some of that was probably good for me because I was having to be extra aware, and jump 30, 35 of this guy tracking, sometimes following me to make sure he's tracking in the right direction.
Yeah.
And I was just being extra aware. And then finding that I wanted to progress in the sport, become a coach, and and find out these things. And Steve brought Mike Watkins to Paradise Valley for me to get my coach rating. He didn't make me go somewhere for it. Like, I mentioned it to Steve, and I'll make this happen. He made it happen. I had to put in the work, but like somebody was there to do the things I didn't know how to do for me.
Yeah.
And for the same thing, brought Mike Watkins in for the IAD, and then Aaron Kaiser shows up. I know everything that Steve couldn't help me with, all the little bits of even though Steve's a great free flyer, all the things that because I'm terrible at it, all the things that Aaron had to help me with that. And then Aaron brought a level, as you know, to our DZ, with all of our canopy skills, with all of our free flying skills. We all took belly more seriously and understood like that's the fundamental of flight, as Aaron's on his Facebook and all this stuff, fundamental of flight. Aaron was put there. After that, Chuck Akers, I got to run into Brendan Radcliffe, and he made me an S&TA. So it just seems like every time there was an opportunity to be had, the person that could make the opportunity happen for me was around the next corner. So I got to take that ride as long as I said no and worked as hard as I could. That's what it felt like.
Yeah.
That's what it still feels like. I still feel like that. Yeah.
Yeah, man. You mentioned something that we haven't really addressed that I think we should, which is can you list out all of your ratings? And S&TA is not really a rating, is it?
No, it's an appointment.
It's an appointment.
Yeah.
So let's list them all out. Let's talk about them.
Okay. So actually, I just got something new. I got appointed S&TA advisor to the board of directors. Mike Watkins is the chair S&TA. He can have, I believe it's 2 or maybe as many advisors as he wants. But he put me on as an advisor because I am new blood, but because I am the new side of the sport. So he's not putting me in that advisor role as to come in there and, hey, this is how you fix the sport. I don't know that. I need to learn. So I'm going to go in there with the biggest ears, a notepad. If I'm called on, I'll say something. But
so an S&TA advisor to the board. What is your how is that different than a regular S&TA?
So I'll physically go to the board meetings, and I don't have a voting role in any capacity, but I'll go with Mike and the other advisor, and on any S&TA affiliated stuff, the advisors and the chair, S&TA advisor Mike Watkins, we would come together, and then essentially it's Mike's vote. Right now I'm looking at it as how are they doing this? I've made it to the table. I mean, at least I've made it to how do I learn to be at the table and be productive?
What do they do at the table, man? There's someone who's
I don't know.
Most skydivers don't even know about the tables, but what are they talking about?
Zoom in. There's the Zoom meeting. We can all go to it.
Yeah.
We can all watch it together. Everybody's invited. I mean, USPA does everything open. But just I was going to go kind of just backwards in the way that I've got them. Mike just appointed me that last week. Officially, we talked about it for a while. There's a few things I had to accomplish first, and a few things I had to read first, and a few decisions I had to make. Like becoming full time, and So before he would actually do that, so he was appointing me that last week, and so I was an S&TA. A regional director, Brandon Radcliffe, came down to our place to give a pro canopy course. Pro canopy course meaning you get to land into stadiums. It ups your level of ability to do demos, skydives. Bigger paid skydives, but just cooler events as well and stuff like that. So he came in to do that. And when he did, I hit my 500th jump, and I was an instructor at the time, hit my 500th jump. So by that, meaning that I met all the criteria to become a safety and training advisor. That's what S&TA is. It's a safety and training advisor. They really needed, as Paradise Valley, as Paradise Valley, we needed an on-site S&TA. So we have Steve-O Elliott, which is a major in the military. This guy that runs a military base that's more than qualified. So he's
Flies C-130s.
Right, he's a C-130 pilot, and God knows what else. And but yeah, he's our head S&TA, and I'm on-site S&TA because I'm there Friday morning until Sunday night while it's all there. And so those are appointments. Now those are, you kind of have to be asked to do those things, are appointments. And I guess the way you're asked to do them is like Brandon Radcliffe came down and saw that I was kind of by default, almost, I was there, willing, relatively capable or willing to learn, I guess, and capable. And then the actual ratings, which you know a bit about. So I got my coach rating, which means you teach someone how to skydive. You teach them how to move through the air. You aid in their ability to learn how to adjust their fall rates, move forward. They've already learned how to turn. So you fine-tune the end of their skydiving. So I got my coach rating, and then I got my IAD rating, which is my instructor-assisted deployment rating. That's where, as you know, I would have your pilot chute, which is what you pitch up to deploy your main. So I would hold your pilot chute. You hang on the edge of on the strut, and legs arch skydive. You hold your good form that we end up learning to find ourselves on the hill. I pitch the pilot chute for you. So there's coach, IED, and then my tandem rating. Tandem rating is where you hook somebody to you. They've never been skydiving. You give them a brief. The only requirement is the closed-toed shoes. That is the only requirement for them. And the briefing that they do these emergency things correctly and some things like that.
So how did that naked jump go the other day?
I had a blast.
Was he wearing closed-toe shoes?
Yes, he had closed-toed shoes. So he was following the recommendation. He was following all the BSRs. He's good to go. I did a naked tandem. That was awesome. And it was always a dude first, obviously. Yeah, it's always going to be a dude first. But I had a blast. I think he did too. He's coming back where I'm doing a personal one-on-one first jump course with him this coming Monday. Yeah, so no.
I guess he really, really enjoyed that.
Really, really enjoyed it. He found that fifth attachment point. So, no. Yeah. But then, so you're a tandem instructor, and then the reason I was doing it in this order is because that's how I believe they go. And then there's AFFI, which I went to West Tennessee. For my tandem rating, I went to Florida through Mike Doak. He was my examiner. Awesome guy. He's 6'5", 240 pounds. You can tell on screen, I'm 5'8", 5'9", so I'm looking at the label of this guy, and he's way up here. I'm trying to skydive with him. So it was good to learn underneath something like that. And then having Aaron Kaiser, the best DI in North America as far as I'm concerned, be able to be there and help me nitpick the little things to become better.
So you mentioned it goes coach, tandem, and then AFFI.
Yeah.
That's the ideal progression?
So that's most people's progression. That's I would
People
say
get
90%
tandem before AFFI?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes. Yeah. I would say I don't know the exact numbers. 85, 90% of the
Why do you
cases.
think that is? Why do people?
To pass AFFI, it's mentally grueling. I lost 20 pounds during the course.
Really?
It's mentally grueling. You have to do 30 practice skydives. They beat you up. They find your weakness. So AFF is accelerated free fall. And I did it in that order. It's not the order that I got my ratings, but I did it in that order because that's the one I'm most proud of by far. Not that I'm not of the others. I loved everything doing. I love doing tandems, but this was the hardest thing we've done in my life. I lost 20 pounds during the course. They find your weakness in skydiving. They skydive with you for the first couple of days, going you through where you're pulling their pilot chute. You are tracking off, and not until you hear your 2.5 dinner. So you're pulling at 2,500 feet, regularly, getting used to being on the bottom end of those skydives. He really teaches you how to relax into the bottom of all of that. But they get it in that order because it's way harder to fly the AFFI than it is tandem rating. The skill level needed to put a parachute on someone that has only done a tandem and listen to the words come out of my mouth. Other than that, they've never done anything. They just put a canopy, just put a rig on them, and you and another guy just go out and hang on to them and let them go skydiving. It's accelerated free fall. It's intense. And I've loved every second of it so far.
How do they find your weakness?
So the evaluators are amazing. So you got to think, man. Mike is a E9 or E8 military guy. My other evaluator was Alex Coker, which he was mentally there for me every step of the way. The guy was in the CIA, all kinds of stuff. He's incredible. And still if you look at his Facebook page, he puts AFFI first before the CIA or anything else. I don't know if that was on purpose, but if you look at mine, it's AFFI and then any other accomplishment that I have after that. Alex Coker. And so they find our weaknesses through being really good skydivers, skydiving with us, and seeing what was easiest for us to get to and what was hard for us to get to. For example, so Steve Emmons and myself went. Well, Steve, his nickname is Big Sexy. So, the guy's massive. So he's going to fall fast, and I'm not. So I'm going to fall slower. So what they found was for him to go slow was very difficult. For me to go fast in the belly to earth orientation only was difficult. So they prodded at Steve for the first couple of days on that slow end. Just prodded him. That's what they do.
What do you mean prodding?
They would just float slow. They'd fly at 115 miles an hour, man. Make it where Steve is just having to peg out, just laying there looking up at it, They find their weakness that way because it's hard to float back up to the skydive, right? And then they found my weakness of going insane at the time, going 140, 150 in belly, like really getting a full spill, but also being able to have my hands out in front of myself to be an AFFI so I can grab on, so I can fly and grab onto someone, still be able to teach. I don't need to be there just to be able to save someone's life. I need to be able to deploy for them, yes, if necessary, reorient them if necessary, but I also need to be able to teach them how they got into that position, didn't show them how to get out of it. I need to be able to teach throughout fixing the skydive too. So I had to break how I flew. I've flown cameras. I've pulled my arms out here for so long trying to keep everything out of view that I can't fly AFF like that. You're going to see my hands in the AFF video. And that's just part of it because they are tools. They are my tools. They teach you how to fly with your legs. They prod your weaknesses, and then teach you how to work around. Like, here's how you fix it. And they make you feel this is your weakness. So and the skydives aren't hard.
How long was the course?
8 days. I think 8 days.
You lost 20 pounds in a week.
Yeah. I'm serious. Yeah.
How did everyone else handle it going through
pounds.
Is it kind of like the hell week of skydiving?
And so I can guarantee, I think I could speak for all of us that went through the course together, that we all cried at least once during that course. Every one of us bled and definitely sweated our asses off for it. Every one of us, they broke us, every one of us.
Did they get a lot of people quitting in the course? Not necessarily in your group.
No, I would imagine. So actually, absolutely, I would imagine. But what I think the order that it actually happens, they have the talk with you first. I didn't really actually realize the talk was like a real thing until, so you do the practice jumps, unless you just think you're something else, and then you just go and go hot, which I couldn't imagine. But, some tunnel rat or something might be able to come in there. But, I'm sorry, what
the talk, I think you were about to say.
Yeah, so I think that's usually instead of that it would happen as the talk. The mic or the evaluators would come to you and say, "You want to save your $3,000?"
That's how much it costs.
Yes. Well, so the AFF
30
course,
practice jumps.
30 practice jumps, the
$900.
evaluator fee, traveling and staying at West Tennessee, food.
Well, that's nice of them at least to give you an out before you waste your money.
Right.
Right.
I mean, so you'd have to pay for the practice jumps, but it's like, okay, you can stop now and go home days early and keep your stay. Your stay, keep the money.
Yeah. What's IAD like? You asked me the other day.
Yeah.
I guess this is the really toned down version of this because I mean, obviously you don't have to chase them down.
Nope. So what they do expect from you are becoming an instructor, which gives you the power of the pen. So you can give people their sign for their licenses and stuff like that. So it's also like, not only is it really good, like cool to like have like a fun thing to do, to be an instructor for that, but it levels you up in skydiving as well. But it like gives you more privileges on our USPA pages. You would have to have earned them, right? Like IED, the IED course. I mean, for you it would be. I mean, you know what IED. You've seen it 1,000 times.
Not that many, but yeah.
But when Steve says once you learn, that's when he said to me, when you learn how to lay on the strut, then you're full control because you're laying over the strut. I have this arm to stabilize myself with, so I can still give signals. My pilot shoe with this hand. It's learning the climb out, and what they expect from you as an instructor is just like throughout all of your coach. You always have to fly to your highest rating. So when I'm on a coach jump, I'm still jumping it like it's AFF. I'm not going to go over there and pull for it. Like, I mean, if need be, if it was down to the dirty, of course, I have to fly to my highest rating. But so you fly in that way, and they teach you that. So, like, you remember the requirements for coach? I believe it was like to be within 15 feet of the entire skydive, something like that, right?
Yeah.
And they moved that in. It's like 10 feet. You got to stay within 10 feet of the skydive because you're an instructor. You should be able to stay a little closer, give a little better signals, a little better teaching.
So IAD, it goes, obviously to cat, G?
Yes, you do.
And then IAD stops. But you're doing up to 15-second free falls with them, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Stay within 10 feet of that.
Yep. Yeah, you can start diving the 15 seconds. And it's fun. I mean, because 15 seconds that's the start of a skydive. So I started diving them because they can look you right in the eyes. And that's also another like great thing for them, a point of something for them to keep their chin up. Because we always say, you win with your chin up, elbows 90-90. Or I always say, I'm sorry, I mean, that skydiving's the best thing that's ever happened to me, truly. I didn't know if the whole conversation was going to be about skydiving, about anything else, but it can be for me. There's nothing else I enjoy.
You came in. How long have you been skydiving now?
So I just talked to my mom on the way up here. So I did 2
years now?
So I did my first tandem skydive when I was 18 years old. So that was 15 years ago. Then I did my tandem progression skydive in 2017, which was however long ago. This is 2023. And then 2 years and 3 months ago, I did my first solo skydive.
What was tandem progression?
So
you did that where? Fayetteville?
So this was like in 2017, like I said. That was at Skydive Sky Ranch in Siloam with Tyler. Went from 18,000 feet. Now, trust me, I'm still a baby beyond baby TI. So I'm still having a blast on every one of them. But an experienced TI like Tyler, with 8,000 jumps, I think he did a tandem progression with me to give me something to do instead of just lay there for a minute and 30 seconds because it's an 18,000 foot skydive, right? So he put an altimeter on me, and the tandem progression and so we would call this a Cat A tandem progression skydive, and you can do this right now. I mean, this is so. Put an altimeter on you. You get out of the airplane. He gets you stable and throws the drogue clearly, but then you do 3 practice touches. You check your altimeter. And on our skydive, because it was from 18,000 feet, we did a 360 to the right, 360 left, but that wouldn't be in the progression. That was just for fun because we had a minute and a half of a skydive, you know. But the true tandem progression is 3 practice touch again to make sure you pull on time and a little bit of them helping you under canopy. So we did
that in 2017.
Yeah.
And then in 2020.
2021. October
Fayetteville.
of 2021, I did my first STATA climb. 2 in the same day.
But then you came to Clarksville pretty much right after.
Then came to Clarksville after those 2.
I don't remember when I started. I guess I started just 11 months before you in September, or 12 months of 2020. But man, you've gone all in.
Yeah, I mean, I have gone all in.
How many jumps you got now? 600?
It's 788.
Jeez. You're breaking 1,000 this year. What are you going to break? 1,200? 1,300?
I'll at least hit 1,000 this year for sure. I want to throw 1,000 drogues this year, hopefully. But
all right,
yeah, I skydived 550 times this year, and the last 2.5 months when we were really hot with tandems and everything going on, I was jumping on average 21, 23 times a weekend, and those were mainly on just the Friday and Saturday days. Or I'm sorry, Saturday and Sunday days. You know, 1 or 2 on a Friday, usually a couple. But now we're going to start. We're open Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And whenever the couple little legal things get figured out, we'll hopefully have a pilot on Thursday. Open Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
So you are 100% supporting yourself through skydiving.
Yeah. So I got to exit my company, or the company that we started, and I'm still a part of that company. So in the sense that I'm still a founding member still. I still know all of those customers and created a lot of relationships over the years. So I'm still more than happy to talk to those folks, and like with my cousin and stuff like that. And we have deals like that in writing. But yeah. So what I mainly did, and I don't care to say to anyone, what I did was I made a deal that I'm betting on myself. I made a deal that I would, exit with enough to make sure that I could get myself through this winter. Not even living, just living, make sure I can make it through this winter. And then, our boogie happens in April, and we should start banging then. And so I took pretty much my salary, up until April. And then, I'll see what I can turn it into.
Yeah, man. Do you have is the goal just to skydive and live, or do you have like an end goal of like?
There's a couple.
I don't know what the end goal would be, but.
Yeah. So a couple of things bouncing around in my head right now are like, like right out of the gate. And like I said, Steve being my mentor, a lot of this is going to be either coming from someone telling me like Steve or Michael Watkins or Chuck Akers. Like a lot of this information I'm going to be saying is directly from them. But, I don't know what I don't know. Right. And I've got a perfect spot to learn it at. I've gotten a perfect EZO to let me learn them the way I need to learn them too, the hard way or the right way, however it may be. So, in my mind, I envision it, staying at Paradise Valley until I know those things, right? Like it definitely through this year. If I learn enough this year, maybe go to somewhere where it's warm during the winter, this first year.
And just go
and throw drogues, make some money there, have some fun doing something. Maybe take a month off. But I guess, like large, like huge grand scheme, because that could go on forever as a cycle, or completely traveling or staying at one of the destination sites. Yeah. But do I want to throw drogues forever? I mean, right now I absolutely love it, but I also love AFFI. I can tell like that's still where my passion right now is. Yeah. And teaching students, I love having the couch sessions with them. I love whenever, like when I was been told you're going to quit and then I see you the next time. And I'm like, yes, yes. And then you might take it easier on, you might go out and lay with them on a coach jump on that one, but, and make the coaching and all that. That's where I'm at. But then there's the other of like what Mike Watkins does, that, being evaluator. And that's why I'm trying to put this course together. That's why I asked about like IED. So we've already got enough people ready to come down March 22nd to 24th. He's going to put on an IED course at the same time at Paradise Valley. And I believe you have to have 3 designated evaluator. You have to be with him through 3 at least before you can be an evaluator. And I think you have to follow an evaluator for like 6 months. But I'm just trying to get some of that stuff. And I told him on the phone, like, hey man, you know me. I'm always looking at the next thing. Not that I'm not taking what I'm doing now seriously, but yeah, I'm always looking for the next thing. And I mentioned that like evaluator can I shadow you that when you come here at Paradise Valley? So long term, it would be to be Mike Watkins and Chuck Akers combined. I want to be the president of the USPA and do what both of them are doing right now. Yeah.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And I know it sounds however it sounds. Wherever I stop throughout that, I have no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I think there's opportunities that exist in skydiving because like the standard maybe not the right word, but the way like most people get involved in skydiving full time is they become do what you do. You know, they throw drugs, move down south, throw drugs, do whatever, and completely valid. But I think there's some other ways too that maybe aren't mutually exclusive.
Oh,
you can
talk
do
to
both.
me. You're smart about stuff like this. What are you thinking?
Well, someone's already started to do it. A couple people have started to do it, but I still don't think like that doesn't mean it's tapped.
Yeah.
And I'm referring to people like Brian Germain and even people like Ronnie Human with Skydive VR. You know, he's looking at the software end. Or that other company, I think I don't know where they're based out of, Crav to Fly. You heard of them?
No, but you were getting me close to the... Go ahead.
So Crav to Fly is an online skydiving course where you pay a monthly fee, kind of like Brian Germain does.
Okay.
And you get access to like Kurt
After
Bartholomew.
e-license information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yep.
Kurt Bartholomew and Jenny Bartholomew have a small video series on there about swooping. What they don't have, though, there's still a ton missing. Like there's nothing about flying your canopy when you're not swooping, you know, relative to other people or other things you might want to do.
Work,
yeah, there's plenty of other things. So just someone leveraging the like creator economy, the Brian Germain, he structured his where he has, you know, just a ton of content he's always making. And he has like a membership program sort of deal where you get to talk to him on Zoom. So creative ways, you know, these people have started to build revenue streams in skydiving that's not like them doing manual labor.
Yeah.
So it's scalable. You can grow that way. And, you know, I would love to be involved in this. Now, my skill level, I can't be the person like, I can't be the Brian Germain. I can't be the person making the videos, but I can help produce them. Yeah, not right now. Maybe one day. But at the very least, I know how to produce stuff like this. And I was really, and I'll say this because I'll say it to his face too, if he listens to this.
Yeah.
I was really trying to get Aaron to, while he was here, kind of build this, and I would help him produce it. And it would have to come from him, of course. I don't have the knowledge he has or the experience.
Yeah,
I was going to help him produce it. And then he seemed somewhat interested. And then, Aaron, you know what you did? You moved. Man,
Yeah.
And you haven't talked to me. So
He did write a book.
he wrote a book.
Aaron
Kaiser.
Kaiser wrote a book.
Is it about skydiving?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. What is it about? Is it like recent or is it?
He's supposed to send it to me.
So it's new.
I'll buy it. Huh?
It's a new thing.
I don't know how new. So I think like when you look up his stuff, you know, it says fundamentals of flight or whatever. I think that might be what it is. I'm not sure. He's gonna send it to me. I'm really excited. He said I've heard a lot of it, you know, like from his mouth.
Cool.
But
yeah. You should also narrate an audio version.
Yeah.
I can help you do that, Aaron.
Yeah. I can tell you this, that I went down there. That's where I went to get my tandem rating. It was Jacksonville and Amelia Island, the 2 drop zones down there. That's where Aaron Kaiser, the gentleman we're talking about, the tandem instructor. I couldn't imagine anyone being able to do that job better, safer, being a tandem instructor, truly. I think so too. Like the little nuggets of stuff that he drops, he could have that Brian Germain wealth of information he does. They have the same amount of skydives or
and
more.
There's so many different ways to actually deliver it. You can do a course where you're talking to people online that pay you monthly in Zoom calls like Brian Germain. You can just develop a system where you're kind of regularly getting in a studio like this, talking,
Yeah.
and then clipping that up for content. And there was another angle I was going to go on there. Oh, even like back end, like so, like Excel Skydiving, Mike Watkins' company. He teaches instructors. What do you have to do to get like he has to hold a rating to be able to do that, right? DE.
He's an evaluator.
Does he have any other competition that does the same thing?
Yes. So you can just go to the USPA and become an evaluator.
Okay.
You can go online.
He's got a good setup.
Yeah. So he has a system that actually the USPA adopts a lot of his the way he his criteria, like becoming a coach and all that. Yes, of course, it follows all of the USPA guidelines, but then some. Mm-hmm. And like not in any way is any of his stuff less than minimum criteria. Yeah. If anything, it's more. And the way that he's put it together, I don't want to speak for him, but I know that they do. Obviously, he's on the board and puts a lot of that together with them through that too.
Kind of where I was going with that is Aaron could, I don't know the legal or the technicality into this, but he could potentially, like, even he's such an experienced TI, he could be also creating this sort of educational material for other TIs just to make them better. And those TIs, as they're already professionals, they would be willing to invest in that, right? I think there's a lot of cool opportunities out there for the right people.
Yeah, and the stuff that...
And if they're listening, I'll help you do it.
Yeah, and the stuff that we're not thinking about, because we're always thinking about like you said, the stuff that's right in front of us, how do you get somebody there so I can get them in front of me?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And make money from the labor, which is cool, but you can't scale it. You can only
you're only one guy.
8 hours in the day, right?
And you're one guy.
Yeah, you're one guy.
You're one guy.
So, Zach, do you think that... you got, 750 jumps or thereabouts sounds like a ton to me.
Right, and you know it's not, but yeah.
But so you're not, I don't know.
I barely know what I'm doing.
So you're not the person that can make this product per se. But if you ever come across someone who can, maybe it's Aaron. Maybe Aaron listens to this is like, Tal, hey, Zach, I want to do this.
Yeah, and obviously I would be a part of any of it because I'll be learning through all of the process on both sides and everything that I need to learn. But no, Aaron would be the guy. Truly. I heard Steve say it the other day, the only name that kind of is on the ranks of that, the Bartholomew and with that was Aaron Kaiser.
Yeah.
Canopy skills. And he also knows how to talk to each person too. So is some of that lost? Like if for open dialogue about it, right? So do you feel like any of that's lost? Because I know, that it would be the one-on-one, the ability to still be able to do one-on-one with him see your canopy skills like via like if somebody videotaped it or
there's so many different ways you could do it, man.
Because the way he talks to me is shit that not the way he needs to talk to somebody else. Because I need to hear it like Steve told me, like go be a fucking athlete, go do it.
Yeah,
like go be an athlete. That's what I needed to hear.
Well, that's kind of how Brian Germain does it, like it's there. I haven't actually been on one of the calls, but I've seen recordings of the calls on YouTube or whatever.
I've watched
it looks like they're group calls, and then you kind of take your turn, show them your footage, whether you submit it to it for it doesn't matter.
That would be perfect for him.
Yeah, you kind of go through that. So the real thing is you got to build a brand, which requires consistent content, consistent marketing. So Aaron or anybody, like if I had someone here like Aaron who has the know-how, we would just have to develop a system to record them, get them in the podcast studio once a week, get out to the DZ, record them here and there, and then you just start posting that stuff for free, and then you build up the private product, however you're going to deliver it to educate and help people. And that's, of course, the key. You have to have a product that's good, but Aaron would have a product that's good.
No question. He wouldn't do it if it wasn't.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of I love hearing. I love hearing there's more ways.
Yeah. It's just it's sometimes it's hard to get it to happen because Sky, it'd be great right now if I could, if supporting my family wasn't a problem, I'd be like, all right, I'm going to go down to Florida for a while and record this thing with them and help them make it. But we live in reality and sometimes. But then again, maybe you just got to go all in like you.
Or it could be done on Zoom.
Yeah, I guess
or another form, because you have the know-how on one end, he has the know-how on one end. It could be where both of y'all are on a Zoom call,
Yeah. Or even, man, it could be a, I know you said you don't have the experience, and maybe you don't for that, but maybe it's a multi-person setup where
enough of us do have the experience. Is that what you mean?
Well, I believe that even at 200 Sky, like I have some thing to say that could help someone before me, right? Like
Absolutely.
a number one person. So like I have the ability as a USPA coach to coach them on certain things.
Yep.
Right. Not everything, but certain things. So the idea, I think a lot of people discount, like you just did, your own experience, because there are these Aaron Kaisers that have 14,000, but you have 750. Like the stuff you say to me or anyone else that we're dealing with at DZ, it is valuable. Now, you're not going to be coaching Aaron Kaiser probably or someone like that. And what I'm saying here is that not every coach in your life, not every mentor has to be at an expert level.
Yeah.
Like there's only a few of those people around.
You know what? I like that. No, seriously, because
and if you take it, say I do 100, 200 more crew jumps with comms, like that would make me somewhat experienced with that specific comm setup. I could theoretically make a small little course or video about how to make this jump with a specific piece of equipment. I'm not telling people, oh, here's how you approach this massive subject maybe I'm not experienced in, but I do know this small thing.
Yes.
So you create these small modular pieces of information or products, whatever, to help people on specific skills. And funnily enough, if we're talking about it from a marketing and business perspective, sometimes it makes it even more valuable. If you can really niche it down and say, if someone out there, some mentor was like, hey, Zach, you want to know how to build a landscaping company in this exact market, if they're really specific and they have the specific opportunity for you, you might value it more than a general like business college degree, right? Because they're very ironed in on this one thing.
That's making sense to me.
Yeah. So I think a lot of people take that mindset where they think they have to be an expert to teach, to have something worth saying.
Okay. Well, I would like to think that I'm coachable, and I'm going to hopefully continue to be coachable the rest of my life in skydiving and just in life. But I might not have all the knowledge needed to vet everyone's or videos perfectly. Yeah. But I would sit in here and do that with you once a week.
Yeah.
If we could get people to send in videos, you and I, like you said, you're a USPA coach. I mean, you do have the information, the information taught by Mike Watkins in Excel. You know what a newer skydiver needs to know, what they don't need to know to get themselves ahead of themselves, I guess. But I would sit here, and if we say we don't know, I could also say, I can get you somebody that does. I could call Mike. All these people that Chuck that said I can call them in a moment, and they would.
Oh, we can definitely talk more about it, man, because there's potentially things to be done there.
I don't want to turn down. I don't want to turn down any opportunity in this world, man. This is it's truly starting to feel like a dream come true, and it's like it's here.
Yeah, we're here, man.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, we live a very interesting life. The ability to skydive and the people you meet, man, the opportunities. Like one more thing I do. What time is it right now?
I could do this all day with you. I've set my phone over there, so I don't even know, brother.
Okay.
Let me check it.
I'm just gonna check it. Just make sure. Yeah, I don't have anywhere to be, but I don't want my wife to think I'm like dead.
Yeah. That's probably good. She doesn't think that.
She wouldn't think that, but anyways. Oh yes, so like Paradise Valley, dude, it's crazy that it's such a cool place, and I don't know why it even exists. Like why Steve and Robert, dude. Without them, it wouldn't exist.
It wouldn't exist without. It wouldn't. Robert's love. First of all, if he wasn't so gung ho on everything and go get it on everything, then he wouldn't have got his pilot's license. He wouldn't have started being friends with Vernon, and so we wouldn't have got the airplane. I mean, so like that. But it's a bunch of extenuating things, and then to have a guy like Steve Emmons to step up and go, yeah, you know what? I watched this playground where our playground in the sky can't go away, and to have somebody like that walk in. Yeah, I mean, he was the head instructor the entire time that was going on anyways, but to step up as DZO, like, that's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I've not only heard that from, so like when I talk to Mike and Chuck, and I keep seeing those guys because those are, so I'd say Chuck is, I get the opportunity to speak with Chuck anytime that I want, but I do need to check in with it. Being a new S&TA, I need to still learn how to be an S&TA. So we'll have confidential conversations every 2 weeks, give or take. It might be just about bullshit if there's nothing, or it might be skydiving. Most of the time, skydiving he ends up there. I keep seeing him, but so they keep saying that all DZOs aren't like this. The situation is
all
there.
DZOs or DZs?
All DZOs aren't like this guy, Stephen Emmett.
Yeah.
Like, because I keep letting him know the opportunities that are being placed in front of me. And how was it? Well, and Steve, like you're saying, Robert's airplane, and now the hot air balloons, which that was one of the funnest things I've ever done in my life.
Yeah. It's just both of those guys, if you say, hey, I'd like to do something, they don't say no. They're like, yeah, let's just figure it out. Or like me, yeah, they give you opportunities to do cool things.
Yep.
And man, it's just something special, it's something that not every drop zone has, and we have to value because can't take it for granted because it's not guaranteed to be there tomorrow. Right. Hopefully it's there forever.
Yep.
But you got to protect it.
Yeah, we do. I mean, I love it there. The air feels cleaner sometimes. I don't know. It's home. I will skydive anywhere in the world. It has
a certain smell.
It does. It has a certain feel. I mean, it really, really does. And everybody that comes by, like they'll even say, like, "I got a good spot here. Just thought we were coming to Arkansas."
Yep.
We got a good spot, man.
In this eclipse, we should probably talk about the eclipse a little bit. So
yeah, for sure.
We can advertise it,
but yeah,
eclipse boogie, man.
So who doesn't know that the eclipse is happening, right? In Arkansas, we're gonna have a total eclipse, April 8th.
Yeah, you think there's a lot of fun jumpers gonna come in?
I think it's gonna be big, man. I think it's gonna be big. Yeah.
So eclipse boogie in the totality zone in Arkansas.
Yeah.
At Paradise Valley Skydiving.
Yeah.
With a King Air going 18K, right?
Yeah. 17. Yeah, at least 17.5 because we're at 450 offset.
Yeah.
So will put us probably 17.5, man. Every load.
Is Yvonne going to come fly?
Yeah, I think Music City's pilot's going to fly it.
Music Cities.
Yeah, where we're getting that's the King Air that we're using.
Is that in Tennessee?
Gosh, I just went blank. Music City, Oklahoma. I want to say.
Okay. I didn't know Oklahoma had any DZs with a King Air.
Gosh. Yeah, so like 3.5 minutes. So we're going to have the boogie from the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and then the totality day. And so they're going to be, I would imagine, I don't know any of the pricing just yet, but for that jump, if you're going to be on that load, I imagine it's going to be an extra penny. Yeah.
Probably so.
Yeah. And I can't wait for someone.
You're likely to be on it.
Oh, I'm going to,
because sure you'll be throwing a drogue, yeah?
I'll do anything to make sure that happens. Yeah. I want to take somebody for the ride of their life during the eclipse. And what's going to be crazy is it's going to be the ride of my life too. Like, how many eclipses am I going to do?
What goes on into the gear or just the safety of a jump like that? Or is it basically a night jump at this point?
So I haven't thought
night tandems, is that even legal?
No. So it's during the day. 3 minutes. It is 3 minutes of total. But you remember the last eclipse? I mean, you can still see.
It was a partial eclipse.
Yeah. All of our altimeters light up.
Yeah.
There's going to be full-on safety briefings with folks that have done stuff like this before with this many people that put it together. Last time we had Carlene King came in as a load organizer. I imagine we're going to have folks doing the same thing that make sure nobody gets hurt. Does things the right way. Because I'm not super experienced in loading a big airplane. I mean, I know the loading order. Like, I could say it, like who was supposed to be where, but there's times when you would switch something around, and load organizing, it's its own thing. We had that King Air with 20 people. You got to make sure those people are in the right spot, and know what they're doing. I was actually in Florida. I was on my evaluation jump, and I've got this guy. He's got about, you have to have a B license or 100 skydives to finish the course with you. So I've got him sitting in front of me, and I look over, and these two girls are sitting there and say, "Hey, guys, what are y'all doing on your skydive?" You know, right before I'm hooking him up. I was trying to calm my own self, really. You know, and like, what are y'all girls doing on this skydive? Tracking. I was like, cool. Which direction are you tracking? And she looks out the door, and she's right. And I was like, right on. Like, so right when the airplane leaves, you are going to turn right. She's like, yeah. And so I was like, so that will be, we are on the East Coast, so the ocean's over here. You know, so you never stop coaching. Like even in, it's people directionally aware. You know, that's another thing. But yeah,
it's helpful to the more you, like now, you know, as you jump at a DZ more, you learn the terrain.
Yep.
Now it's like, of course, those are the hills to the north there.
Yep.
Or there's the orchard or the satellite field.
Yeah. I mean, I've done my fair share of night jumps, six or eight night jumps, but like, I've had some fun. The faster the canopies get, it starts, like, I'm okay going back up a canopy size or two at night. You know what I mean? I enjoy them for special occasions now. Like my first couple, it blew my mind. I couldn't believe it. And then I did when I laid on my back and just watched the moon. And it was amazing. Just, you know.
So you're not going to have to wear any LEDs for the, like beyond the altimeter?
Oh, I honestly haven't. I haven't even looked that far ahead.
Okay.
To be honest with you. Truly, I haven't looked that far ahead.
Fair enough. I don't know where I'm going to be that weekend, man. Like it's supposed to be crazy. Like next, like, you know, you hear Brian talking about the other day.
Like 1.5 million people coming in.
Like I'd have to leave by, honestly, I likely won't be there just because I've got the family at home in Russellville, which is in the middle of all of it.
Yeah.
And I just don't know what to expect. Like I hear we're not gonna have gas for a while, and you know, we've got to like stock up on food. If it's something where I can like, if it turns out that, oh yeah, the interstates are clear and I could drive over there, and then, you know, not have to like commit myself to being there away from the family for like 4 days or however long, then oh yeah, I'll be there. But it just really depends on what happens. It'll be weird.
I hope you're there.
You know, it'll be funny.
What?
It'll be kind of like a tragic funny. Now, the drop zone's going to be great. The boogie's going to be awesome. But if these cities that are really banking on all of this extra revenue, they've spent so much money here in Russellville. No shade, Russellville. I mean, I would too. But
yeah, no kidding.
I hope you're right. You know, you hope your ROI is there.
Yeah,
I'm sure the smart people are thinking about it, but it would be like tragically funny.
I mean, that's the same thing Steve and Robert are doing right now, taking the chance on, you know, bringing a big airplane in. You know, you got to make sure there's a certain amount of loads that have to turn. You know, it's
Let's do a quick voice clip for just like talk about the tandem in an eclipse. In that way, I don't know if how they're booking yet, but we can use that.
So the other thing going on with our Eclipse boogie is Chuck Akers is coming down. The president of the USPA is going to be at our boogie. So if anybody wants to rub elbows with the president of the USPA, he's going to be coming down. He's going to be staying at accommodations that really close to the DZ Robert spot. So he's going to be right there, man. So at the USPA. But so yeah, we're going to be doing tandems during the total eclipse. On the April 4th through the 8th is our boogie. The eclipse is on the 8th. You can do a tandem skydive. If you've never been skydiving before, a tandem skydive is where you have an experienced skydiver that has gone through a course that knows how to, and both, so you can look this up before. If you're looking at this or caring about tandem skydiving, you probably know what it is. Mm-hmm. So
they get to skydive in complete darkness, right?
Yeah. It's going to be a complete dark skydive. We're going to exit during the day, free fall at night. And under canopy, sometime it'll be day again, right?
Because back in the day,
yeah,
and once in a lifetime opportunity, right?
Yeah, I have here for sure because we're in the totality, right here for sure. So all the Arkansans and the folks that aren't big on traveling, and I know that's a lot of us that are really close in homebodies, but yeah, it's right here in Clarksville. We're getting to do this. I couldn't believe when I heard we were in the 100% zone. That was awesome. Yeah. So yeah, man. So we're going to be doing skydives from 18,000 feet in the total darkness at Paradise Valley Skydiving.
There we go.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Zach. I mean, I think we've covered a lot of good stuff today. And
Awesome.
I think there's little nuggets in here for people to listen to.
Cool. I hope we didn't jump around too much. I felt like I would
You did
get
great.
going down one road and then walk off and kind of my head was all over the place.
That was absolutely great, man.
Hopefully I'll do better. And I'd like to do more with you whenever,
Absolutely.
being
Absolutely.